Motivation to quit smoking. Let's talk about that a little bit today. If you're a cigarette smoker, I certainly hope you'll give consideration to the benefits of quitting smoking or stopping smoking. But let's actually talk a little bit about the motivation that you can use to make this decision. And again, I'm kind of talking to those people that smoke right now and are kind of on the fence and kind of have thought a little bit about that. So anyway, I'm sorry, that's one of our cats who loves to be in these videos. Her name is Chloe. Um, let's start with the health risks. I'm not going to go into all the details. And again, I am not a trained medical professional. We've all seen those horrible, horrible commercials on TV where somebody smoked their whole life and gets lung cancer or heart disease or needs operations or they suffer or they get cancer. And just, I'm not going to go into all that. Suffice to say, it's pretty proven now. I mean, maybe 50 years ago, a lot of smokers didn't buy into it, but it's pretty proven now that there are a number of health risks to smoking. So, if you continue to smoke, you're essentially saying, I understand this and I'm accepting the health risks involved. Now, other things, let's talk about the money. I mean, again, when I smoked cigarettes, it was less expensive. These days, the states have put, most states, not all, have put really large tax burdens on smokers. And again, it's all being done to try to get you to quit smoking. But in some cases, like in New York where I live, it's like over $12.50 for a pack of cigarettes. I mean, I can't get my mind around that. How much do you have to make money wise to see that as any kind of a value to you? So just the money that it costs you and the money you'll save when you quit smoking is it can be certainly substantial. Um, think about the secondhand smoke. When you smoke, where do you smoke? I mean, if you smoke in your house, are you smoking around your spouse or your partner? Are you smoking around your children? Are you smoking around your pets? I mean, that's another concern. You don't want them if they've chosen to not be cigarette smokers. You should not, and it is not your right to choose for them to smoke your cigarettes. I mean, that's a choice you may make for yourself, but secondhand smoke is really bad. There are probably many, many cases out there where people that never smoked a cigarette in their life but had secondhand smoke ended up with cancer and other terrible things. So again, it is not fair for any smoker to make that choice about another person's life. So secondhand smoke is definitely, that should be a motivator for you. The fact that you're kind of made to feel like you're a second-class citizen these days. Again, when you're a cigarette smoker, you're somewhat of an outcast because most people now, I guess thankfully, do not smoke cigarettes. But most smokers, I mean, you can smell the smoke. If you're a non-smoker, and a smoker walks up, they smoke cigarettes. You can probably see it on their hands. You can see the yellow stains. I mean, smokers in a way are kind of, I don't want to say disgusting because that's really too harsh a word, but they're kind of thought of as like what they do is kind of dirty to a non-smoker. It's not pure, it's not natural, it's not organic, it's not nice, it's not something you really want to be around. So you're kind of like ostracized, you're kind of pushed to the side. It makes you feel like a second-class citizen. And then you've got smoking outside. I mean, most places have banned smoking inside. You can't have a cigarette in a restaurant, probably not at a bowling alley. You probably can't smoke inside a baseball stadium anymore. You can't smoke in an office building. You can't smoke in a shop that you work at. So when you have a cigarette, you're always forced to, on your lunch break or, little breaks in between or before or after, you always have to go outside. Now, I mean, when I smoked, there was rain, there was snow, there was wind, there was night, it was hot, it was cold. I mean, there was so many situations that are not ideal. So smoking outside, I mean, really, who needs it? I mean, it's just another element that may change how your day is going at that point. Then in addition to that, Think about personal safety as associated with that smoking outside. I've said this on some other videos that, like, if you're, let's say, staying in a hotel somewhere, and it might be in a city, maybe you're in business, and you have to go outside to smoke. Now you're standing possibly on a sidewalk by yourself, maybe at night, maybe the only one out there, maybe it's a bad neighborhood. I mean, you may be at risk. I mean, it may not be the right thing to do to go outside in all areas because the areas may not be completely safe. So that's certainly something to think about, is your personal safety involved with that. Environmental concerns. What do you think happens to when you do this and this cloud of smoke comes out? Where is it going? It's going in the environment. It's going to the people around you. It's going to the animals, to the plants, to the sky, to the cloud. It's going everywhere. And when you think of all these people smoking and all that smoke, well, is that different than what's coming out of one smokestack or the tailpipe of a car? It all adds to it. It's all part of that pollution. So if you care about the environment, you want to kind of reduce your footprint a little bit as far as environmentally goes. Quitting smoking is another way, to reduce that dirty, if you will, footprint. Then think about the time it takes to recover from things. Anytime when I was a cigarette smoker, if I got a cold, I wouldn't feel good for 3 weeks after I had the cold. The cough would linger, the congestion would linger. All those kind of things, they plagued me. They stayed with me. It was miserable. It was just miserable. I hated to get sick because even if it was just a minor infection or a cold, things like that, it always was much worse when I was a cigarette smoker. And then lastly, just think about how you feel. I mean, I want to feel good. I don't want to feel miserable. I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy the things I do. If I'm in Disney World, I want to go on rides. I want to spend time with my family. I want to eat nice meals. I don't want to look around and try to figure out where the little smoker's outpost is and run in there every opportunity I can because I paid a lot of money and I want to be there with my family. And that's just like a typical example. How do you feel when you quit smoking? You're free of all that. You don't have to always worry about your next cigarette. And I'll tell you, if there's no other chain to break, that's the one. Because once you've had your last cigarette, the next one never matters. So, with that said, if you want to learn what I did when I quit Smith 15 years ago, I ask you to click one of the links around this video. Please like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you as an ex-smoker.